Hello and welcome to episode 31 of my knitting podcast. Welcome to all of you. I know there have been quite a few new faces here, quite a few new subscribers, so a very warm welcome. And I also saw that I got over 5,000 subscribers now on YouTube, which makes me really happy. So thank you all for subscribing. I know quite a few of you came over from different kind of podcasts. The one that pops in my mind now is Salma from the Little Big Knits podcast. I know that she has mentioned me, but I think there were some other ones as well that mentioned me, and I'm really sorry, I generally can't remember, but if I will mention them in the next episodes. Alright, so first of all, yes, a very warm welcome to all the new ones, and as well to all subscribers who always come back and watch these episodes. I had so many lovely comments under my last few videos actually. So last time I filmed 3 videos at the same time. I filmed just a normal podcast, then I filmed my knitting plans, and I also filmed an episode about all my knitted summer tops. And I think especially the last one, the one about the knitted summer tops, really was highly appreciated by a lot of you. So that was a nice surprise. I didn't know that you would like this kind of episode so much. And yeah, it was a lovely feedback that I got there, and it was quite interesting to see that you were inspired by some of my projects. And I will probably do something similar in the future. I don't know when and I don't know what about, so if you have any ideas what you would like me to talk about, just let me know. But I will definitely do some sort of different kind of podcast in the future if you're interested in that. But today is just a normal simple knitting podcast. I hope you have something nice to drink. I just made myself a nice cup of coffee that I'm gonna enjoy whilst filming. I had quite a long day today. I had my hair and makeup done by somebody who really knows how to do it. So today in the morning I had a photo shoot for work, and I thought I might use this makeup and this professionally done hair, even though okay, the hair maybe has suffered on the way home because it was raining. Yeah, I thought I would use that makeup and film an episode today, since I have nothing else to do. Well, I do have a lot of other things to do, but I thought I'd use the silent time at home. My partner's away at work. I thought I'd use the moment to film and yeah, hang out with you guys. It's always nice to get the filming out of the way, not in a way that I don't enjoy it, but yeah, it's hard to make time for it, and now it's starting to become difficult again because yeah, we don't have that much light anymore. For the ones who are new to this channel, sorry, I just jumped right into it, but I moved back to Iceland this year. So yeah, it is end of August, 30th of August today, and that means yeah, this light is fading quite quickly now. It's getting darker much earlier, and actually today was a really grotty and horrible day. It was really uncomfortable. It was raining and there was we had a lot of wind. It was dark, so I'm using artificial light. I hope that's okay. And I hope that I will be able to film in the future when it's dark, I will probably just use this kind of lighting just to make it work. We still have, so the sun is, just came out now, literally the second I'm talking about the horrible weather. So now we have the sun shining on the other side of the house, but it's already a little bit dark here, so let's see how it goes. Well, I have a little bit of update about what happened over the last month or so, but I will insert it at the end of the episode. I think it's a little bit more appropriate because it's quite a few things that I wanted to mention. So I keep that at the end. You might have seen a few scenes at the beginning of this podcast from like recent road trips that I've done. I had family visiting, so we've done loads of little road trips and hikes, and we've been visiting the volcano whilst it was active. So there's a little bit of footage in that of that at the beginning, and probably as well at the end of the episode. I will talk like more about it in detail a bit later, as I said. I guess it's time to start with the knitting content. And there we go. So the first finished object that I want to show you is the one that I'm wearing. I always like to have something new on that I finished just to be able to show it to you properly. So this is my second Abydos top by Lily Kate France. Lily is a brilliant designer. I have mentioned her many times, and this is a top that I test knitted for her. But this is actually the second version that was already done when the test knit had finished. So the pattern is available now. It is brilliant, I love it. And I actually have a third one on my needles that I'll show you later. But yeah, so this is the second version. I meant to make this one actually as a present. And then I changed my mind. Because, so the yarn that I used, the darker grey, I actually don't have one here, but the grey, the DK weight yarn is a Sandnes Alpakka. Just like I will link my project pages down below so you can actually look up exactly which colors I used. But so this is an alpaca yarn, and then the mohair is a leftover that I had in my stash. It's I think Rico Design silk mohair, something quite affordable, and I just had a little bit left and I knew that would be enough, so I used around about 5 or 6 grams of the mohair, and then I just bought the Sandnes alpaca for the rest, thinking that it would be really soft. Well, it's the first time that I actually used alpaca for a garment. And it was kind of a lesson, because actually it is not really that soft, and the mohair, the one from Rico, is also not the softest. And my idea was to make this top, especially for somebody who's a little bit maybe sensitive to itchy yarn, thinking it would be like soft enough, but actually it is a little bit scratchy. So I find it okay. I know that I will have to wear it a few times to get used to it. And also I feel like sometimes when you start wearing something that is a little bit itchy at the beginning, it softens with the more you wear it. But this is definitely not something that I can give to that person. So I'm just gonna keep it myself. Yes. I'm not mad about it. I love it. I love having a second one. The first one, I'll show it to you. So this is the first one. I've worn that one in my last, I think in episode maybe 28 or something. You'll be able to see it. This one is a lovely version that I made out of hand-dyed yarn from my friend from Marina from Strawberry Patches Yarns. She's based in New Zealand, and this colour, I know a lot of you guys loved it, and I love it as well. It's definitely one of my favourite tops that I've ever knit. I love to wear it. But yeah, so I have a second one now in grey. It's great, but it's not so suitable for somebody who is sensible to who's sensitive. I always use the wrong word. There we go. Who's sensitive to itchy yarn. Now I'm all confused. I hope I used the right word there. Christ. Okay. So that's my first finished object. The second finished object that I have is actually one that I mentioned. It was number 1 of on my to knit list on my to knit list video that I published before. That was my last episode. It is the lightweight hipster shawl by Joji Locatelli. So there we have it. It is finished. I started and finished it, I think, within like maybe 2 weeks or so. There we are. And I love it. It's great. I like to wear it. I've worn it a few times now in the summer, just with a basic top or something. And then, yeah, just a shawl and a leather jacket or a jeans jacket. And it's nice and light, as the name says. And it's a one skein project. So my friend from Marina from Strawberry Patches Yarns, she gave me some yarn last year. I think it was last year, yes. And I had this single skein of like really nice 4-ply, I think she calls it, but I have to look it up. It's the Donegal 4-ply, that's what she calls it. It's it's got like a bit of tweedy texture, and the color is called Spicy Orange, and I love it. This is my second lightweight hipster. The first one that I knit was actually the test knit for the pattern. I made that one and I gave it to my niece. Actually, I have to ask her if she wears it or not. I might have it back. No, I'm joking. No, I hope she wears it, but I love having these shawls actually. I never thought I would be a shawl person, and for a long time I was really against knitting shawls, but yeah, I fall in love with knitting shawls, and I have actually quite a few on my needles at the moment. And this one is just a great project if you need something for a one skein project. And I know Joji is running her fall knit along now. It's starting in 2 days, and today is the last day to sign up. So by the time I will have published the episode, it's probably too late. But I know that she has she's got like a new one skein shawl project that she has published, and which is kind of similar but different. You don't have these crisscross stitches, but like some other textured stitches in the pattern, and it looks really nice as well. So I might actually sign up for that as well. I have signed up for her knit along, but I'll talk about that later. So yeah, the finished lightweight hipster shawl. And I used exactly one skein. The only difference the only modification that I didn't do the tassels on this one. I thought there was already enough going on with the color being like speckled a little bit. And yeah, so I decided to just knit a little bit further. So instead of using the yarn for the tassels, I just knit as long as I could. And I ended up having like maybe 10 centimeters or something as yarn at the end. So perfect, I love it. I love when I can use my stash to finish a project and to have it out of my stash and just put it into my wardrobe. So that's my second finished object. Alright guys, the third finished object is actually a sewed finished object. I made it like quite some time ago and I forgot to mention it, so I thought I would mention it today. I'm wearing it today. It is the trousers that I'm wearing. Now, I hope I can show them to you, otherwise I'll insert a picture maybe, but okay, you can't see it. I'll insert a picture. So the trousers that I'm wearing are the Safiya trousers by Tilly and the Buttons. I have it out of my book. Let me grab the book. I made that out of the Make It Simple Tilly and the Button book. So I got like a sewing machine a couple of years ago for like as a Christmas gift, I think, or a birthday gift. And I haven't used it as much as I wanted to, but now I thought, okay, we're living in a new house now since like half a year, and I have a little bit of like, I have a small office, I have a bit more space where I could technically leave a little bit of a, like, you know, when you get your sewing stuff out, sometimes it's quite messy and stuff, so I could just leave it there and it would not annoy anybody. So I wanted to try to sew a little bit more, and I had a look. I was just about to buy like a Vogue knitting pattern and stuff, and then I thought, no, actually I do have quite a few sewing books that I got as well when I got the sewing machine. And Tilly and the Button patterns are really clear and great for beginners like me. So I went to a fabric store here in Iceland and just grabbed some fabric and started sewing, and it worked quite well, I think. So it's not perfect, and especially like having to do like folding over the hems, I really struggled. They're definitely not very even, but so far I'm quite happy. I could have made them a little bit longer, I think. And I think the fabric is nice to wear in the summertime or maybe at home, but it's maybe not that wearable for being outside or just when it gets a little bit colder. So yeah, just something to think about for the next project, that I maybe choose a fabric that is a little bit better to wear. This one is like 100% viscose. I think I'm not the best with fabric, let's be honest. I just went for the color. I thought, oh yeah, I like this. It's like a is it called khaki green? Like it's yeah, I really like that kind of green actually. I have that same kind of green here as yarn, so yeah, it's definitely my color, and it works with a lot of things in my wardrobe as well, with my summer tops, like the Abydos tops, so I like it. I haven't worn it that much, to be honest, just because it's not that wearable for me here in Iceland. It's probably more something that I could wear on a summer vacation or when I'm somewhere a little bit warmer, but I'll try to wear it a bit more in the future. Okay, can put the book straight back into the shelf, so I have a little bit less of a mess here. Oh, I didn't do a good job with cleaning that up. Sorry, it looks a little bit messy here today. Yes, and these are all my finished objects. I do have quite a few works in progress, so let's continue with that. So the first work in progress that I have here is my third Abydos top. Again, I'm knitting it again just because I love it. I've been enjoying this pattern a lot, and I will be giving this pattern, or I will be giving this project, this finished tee to somebody. So this is a present, and there it is. I chose some white now. The person that I'm giving it to is very close to me, so I thought it would be better if we don't have the same kind of color, just so we could maybe wear it at the same time and don't look like complete twins. So I hope that this will work. It is much softer now. The yarn that I used for this one is the Double Sunday by Sandnes Garn in cooperation with petiteknit. I believe that this color is called Whipped Cream. It has a color code, but yeah, if you want to know the exact details, just go onto my Ravelry page. I have linked it. I haven't uploaded any pictures yet. I haven't been that good with it, but yeah, all the information are in there. Actually, I'll put it up now, and I can see that I have a little bit of a feeling that you can see the dye lots. Maybe I don't know if you'll be able to see it here, but there should be the same dye lots. So I hope that I'm just imagining it, that there's a little bit of a line here. Hopefully it will just fade, and it's just me who can see it. It does look not as even as I had hoped for, but I know that merino normally like evens out quite a lot with blocking. And let's be honest, I didn't swatch for this project just because I had already knit 2 of them, and I just believed in the good fate of like, I just hoped that this would work out. Let's be honest. The yarn had really similar yardage as the ones that I was using before, and yeah, either way, even if it is a little bit more snug or a little bit looser, I thought it will be fine. So I didn't swatch for this project, and I'm just hoping for the best. I haven't even tried it on myself yet. I do think it might be ever so slightly smaller, but then I think it will block out quite a bit. I know Lily's original version is made out of white yarn, so very similar, or same look, and it looks so classy. So I went for this as well. I was totally inspired by her pictures, and the mohair that I used is one that I had in stash. It's an Ito Sensei, a really nice high quality silk mohair that I've used in a previous pattern from Lily as well, the poisoned apple top. So yeah, I do love when I can just use stuff from my stash. I couldn't, as I had to buy the Sandnes garn, and for some reason initially I just bought 2 balls, and then when I had finished the first 2 balls I was like, oh yeah, it makes sense, you need 200 grams and not 100 grams for that project, so I had to go back, and luckily they still had the same dye lot in the shop, so yeah. I managed to get the same dye lot of this color again, and now I just have to finish it. I have woven in most of the ends. There are a few loose ends that I have to still weave in, and then it's just like plain stockinette, and I have about, I think I have about 10 days left to finish it, so it's totally fine. And this is actually an entry into Salma's, so Salma from the Little Big Knits, she's got a knit along running at the moment. It is, now I forgot the name of the knit along, let me check. It's a Little Bit Knit Connection Smell, and basically it's just a knit along where you can enter if you're using either yarn that you have been gifted, or you're using like yarn, or you've maybe used a gift voucher, or you're knitting something for somebody else. And this is certainly this is a gift, a future gift, and it is for like a special occasion. So this is an entry into her make along, and I encourage you to go over to her podcast and maybe participate in her make along. I think it's a really nice knit along to participate at. Alright, that's the first works in progress. The next works in progress that I can show you are actually two same patterns that I'm knitting, but yeah, I'm actually at the same point with both. Oops, sorry. I'm actually at the same point with both projects. The only difference is that I use different kind of yarn. At the moment I'm knitting 2 half and half wraps, and with both half and half wraps I'm done with the first color. Actually with one of them I'm not quite, I'm going to show it to you later. So this is the first half and half wrap that I started in a beautiful cinnamon color. It's the British Wool by Woolly Knits in the colorway Cinnamon, and I do love it. I absolutely love it. I can't wait to continue. So I have 2 options. Actually, let me grab the options. I have one option to continue with like a green, and that was actually what I had in my mind, but I have 2 more colors that I could use. Let me grab them. The other two colors that I could combine with the cinnamon is I could either combine darker brown or the colorway Harvest. So they're all from Woolly Knit, the same kind of base. It's all the British wool in hanks. I've just bought, I think, a few hanks each. But actually now thinking about it, I probably have to go with this color because I will not have enough of the other two. I will have ever so slightly too little. So yeah, I will probably do that one like I initially thought I would. The green and the cinnamon. This is, I think, is called Green Apple. It looks a little bit lighter in the viewfinder than it does in reality. It is a nice color combination and certainly in my color scheme. And then I have these two here, same amount of yarn. I have one, I think I bought one hank each. I'll double check, but I think it's one hank each. And I could make a sweater out of that. I was actually thinking of maybe making the newsletter sweater, I think, by Joji Locatelli, so I might do that. It's a lot of brioche, so at the moment I'm not really wanting to knit so much brioche, but it is definitely one of the options. Maybe, let's see. But a lovely color combination as well, a lot of contrast, so I could maybe do a colorwork sweater or whatever. Yeah, I have enough yarn, so that should be enough yarn for another project. But yeah, the half and half triangles wrap here, the first one, on a very long cable, and it's still not long enough. Halfway done, and I just need to knit the other half. The modifications that I did is I did the free stitch I-cord on one side, and I used German short rows. And I came to this by I think by Leslie Friend. She talked about the half and half wrap, so that's why I did the I-cord edge, and I'm really happy I did. I know it's only on one side. I'm considering maybe of picking up some stitches to have the I-cord edge on the other side, but I'll see if I'm motivated or enough to do it at the end. So the one that I just showed you before, wasn't it on 4mm needles, I believe. I don't quite remember, but I think so. I have to knit the other side, so we'll figure it out. And then the second version is knit that I have here is actually made out of the original yarn, or the yarn by Pearl Soho that they recommend and that they have the pattern written for. It's the linen quill, the very famous linen quill. It's a 50% Highland wool, 35% alpaca and 15% linen. And yes, I bought that yarn. Finally I got my hands on it and I love it. So this is a little bit softer than the British wool. And this is the color mustard yellow, I believe. Turmeric yellow, there we are, almost. Turmeric yellow. A lovely bright yellow. I love it. It's a little bit like orangey, and again I'm almost halfway, so I do have to knit a little bit longer here. So there's a little triangle here missing, just about here. But yeah, I'm almost halfway, and then I will knit the second half. This one is knit a little bit on smaller needles, 3.5mm. I just thought I'd give it a go. And I used some wooden needles because I was traveling for work, so I had to go abroad, and I thought, well, whilst I'm traveling as a passenger, I might as well take my knitting with me, and to be sure I put it on wooden needles. And a lot of you guys ask me if they can bring their needles on an airplane or not. I generally don't no, it depends on local authorities. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not. So when I'm traveling, I try not to bring my best metal needles. I usually try to have some wooden needles just in case. But I have also traveled with my best metal needles. I haven't had a problem yet. The only time I had a problem was in Cuba. When I was traveling in Cuba, they once confiscated some, what was it, like a stitch marker, like a bigger metal stitch marker. And yeah, they wouldn't give it back to me. So yeah, that's the only thing. But with knitting needles, I never had a problem so far. Touch wood. And yes, this is definitely like my chill out project. I take it out whenever I don't want to think. I literally just want to knit. I had it out now when my family was visiting, when we were like driving around. I could just like pick it up whenever and put it down whenever, and I know exactly where I am, what I have to do. Lovely project, and I can recommend to knit that. I know I've had comments before, people saying, oh, I really don't want to knit it because so many people have knitted, and I feel the same about some patterns. One in particular. But yeah, I like to have this project on my needles, and will continue making them. I have another quantity of yarn for another half and half wrap, and I think I will just keep them by the couch and use them as like blankets in the winter, or scarves, like scarves or something in the evening to just put over. I know Mega, she does that. She showed it in her Instagram stories that she has the finished half and half triangles wrap on the couch, and her husband and her cat is constantly using it. So I will have, I'll have it at the couch as well, just to snuggle up in it in the evening. Alright, so these are 2 works in progress, and the last works in progress is another one from my to knit list that I showed you in the last video. So here it is. I have untangled it. It's not that much to, well, you can't really see it, or can you? Oh yes, you can. There it is. It is the Take Your Time Slip Over by Kadri. Yeah, I just joined in a round of maybe knit like a little bit, like maybe like 10 centimeters or so. And I have run out of the main yarn. Or actually I haven't run out, but I finished the ball. And I finished the bits and bobs that I had of this one. So I decided not to continue knitting with it. But what I will do now is I will first pick up the stitches for the sleeves, or for the ribbing, and for the neckline, and I will first do that, finish it, and then I will just use the rest of the yarn to knit it down and just hope it will be enough. Now I'm a little bit worried looking at it, and now I'm a little bit worried that it won't be enough. But yes, it doesn't need that much length. It doesn't need to be super long. I have, like, my plan is to maybe wear it like with like a white shirt underneath, and then just put it over. Not too sure. That was the plan, how to wear it. I don't have a slip over yet in my wardrobe. And what I did with this project, I literally shot my stash, looked at my stash, what yarn could work together, and I found this leftover yarn that I had from knitting the Livingston vest by Lily Cake Mates, and then I found the Mohair silk by La Bien-Aimée in the colorway Madeleine that I had in my stash as well, and I thought I'll just combine these two and make a Kadri slip, the Take Your Time Slip Over. So I didn't swatch for this one either. I'm going through a period where I'm being very rebellious, where I'm not swatching. Not like me normally, but yeah, this is something that doesn't need to be perfectly fitted. And if I don't, so I'm not too sure yet about the color. If I don't like it, I might give it away. Let's see if I wear it or not. I recently, when my mum was visiting, I gave her a couple of tops that I don't wear or that have become too small, and she was really happy about it, and I was really happy about it because I have more space for my yarn. That was the Take Your Time Slip Over by Kadri. I know I made this video about all the things that I'm gonna knit, and actually I am quite proud that I've already finished one of the to knit lists. Excuse me, my phone is on loud. So I've already finished one of the projects that is on my list, and I have the half and half triangles wrap on my needles as well. And I will be starting the Lace and Fade boxy sweater by Joji Locatelli. I will be casting on that on the 1st of September. But I have had another idea. So I really need a cardigan in my wardrobe. I'm missing a cardigan. At the moment I have one cardigan that I wear regularly. It's a shopboard cardigan. It's not that nice. And I kind of need another cardigan, and I would like to have something really basic. So I went through the patterns that I own, and actually I got, so I've been test knitting for Lily, and I have asked for, so she always kind of, yeah, she thanks her testers by giving them 2 patterns of their choice. So she gave me a pattern, the pattern for the Be Thankful cardigan. And I thought, okay, actually I might have some yarn in my stash that I can use for it, so I will try to make it work. It says in the pattern it asks for worsted weight yarn, I think. Aran weight yarn, but I looked at the yarn specs, and one yarn that I have in my stash is the Rauwerk Merino Decay. Here it is. It is sourced and spun in Bavaria, so it's a German yarn, and it has the same specs as the one that Lily used, or very similar, like by a few meters difference. So I hope I can get gauge with this one, and then I will just knit it, because I have quite a lot of yarn of this one. I bought it in a D-stash, somebody was selling that a few years ago, and yeah, I will just use it because it takes up a lot of space, and it would be lovely to just have a cardigan out of this in my wardrobe because it's a nice and neutral color. So this has come onto my to knit list. I've updated my runway queue, and there it is, just waiting to be cast on, but I will swatch for this one just to be sure that I can get the gauge right. The other one that I'm gonna cast on the 1st of September as well, maybe, I might not do it exactly on that date, but yeah, you know what I mean, is the Tulip cardigan by Melody Hoffman. So I showed you the yarn as well in my last video, so you might want to go back. I don't want to take it out now because I've put it away nicely, so I'll leave it there. But the yarn is, I'm going to use some Plötulopi combined with a Filcolana Tilia, so that's a Silk Mohair by Filcolana, and I will make the tulip cardigan. And I will make that as part of the, now let me get that right, the Unspunheroeskal. So this is a very casual knit along that a few of my podcasting friends have organized, or actually it's not really organized because we basically just said let's knit something with our unspun yarn that we have at home. And I do like to knit with Plötulopi. I always have some at home. I actually have quite a lot of Plötulopi at home, so I definitely need to use it up. And so I decided to knit the tulip cardigan. It is a pattern that I've already knit as a sweater. I never showed it on this podcast because I gave the sweater away before I could show it to you. But yeah, I've knit the same sweater in the same color this year as and I gave it away as a present, and I really like the color, so I think it would be nice to have that in my wardrobe as well. And if you want to join this knit along, you're more than welcome. So it is a really relaxed knit along. It runs from 1st of September until the end of January 2023. I know, 4 months, it doesn't sound that much, but yeah, time is running at the moment. So feel free to cast on any time from now on. Whips are welcome, so if you have anything that you have started a while ago, pick it up again. And just use the hashtag unspunheroeskal. Just use that one on Instagram. Feel free just to get some inspiration what to knit with your yarn, because I know a lot of you guys have bought Plötilopi or Nutiden. I know Nutiden is very popular. And a lot of people buy it and then don't know what to knit with it. So yeah, get some inspiration from that hashtag, use it, and then yeah, maybe we can inspire each other to knit some nice things out of unspun yarn. So any kind of unspun yarn is welcome in this knit along. Well, we could probably also say make along if you want to use crochet it, do it. You can also blend it, so I will be blending it because I'm going to be using a second strand just to get gauge, but yeah, feel free to yeah, do it however you want to. So that's about the knit along. Another knit along that I'm planning to maybe take part of is the Westknits knit along, the mystery knit along. That is starting in October, I believe. He is just about to announce the kits. So once he will announce the kits, I will know more about the yarn specs, and I will probably first try to see what I have at home, if I have anything. Otherwise, if I don't have the yarn for it at home, I have a couple of ideas. Either I might buy some more linen quill, just because I really love the yarn, and I think it might be a nice idea to have a shawl out of it in different kind of colors. Otherwise, or I have thought about maybe buying some hand-dyed yarn, hand-dyed yarn that has been hand-dyed in Iceland. I think it's just a merino silk base that I've seen that looks really lovely, so that might be another idea. And what was the last idea I had? I can't remember. Or I even thought about just going completely like maybe just treating myself to Westknits kit. I don't know. I'll see how it goes. I've been working a lot lately, so I feel like I can treat myself to something nice, but yeah, there's no pressure. I will first have a look what the kits are, what kind of yarn we need for it, and then I will participate at the knit along. Let me know if you're participating as well. I know a lot of you are. I've seen it already. A lot of people are quite excited. I really enjoyed knitting the Shalography last year, and so I hope that this year will be fun as well. I think it's called Twist and Turns, if I remember rightly, so that sounds interesting. Let's see. A nice pattern that I have come across, introduced by Lisa from the And So On knitting podcast slash mainly sewing podcast, I think. She does both. So she introduced me to the Glee Shawl by Stephanie Erb. It's designed, I think, for Bust Tricot, and I believe it's a free pattern. And I saw it, and I thought, like, she posted it in one of our knitting, like, we've got like a podcaster friend group, and she posted a pattern and said, oh, this is gonna be like the next a half and half triangle strap, and I totally agree, because you only need 3 skeins of a DK weight yarn. Oh, a DK weight shawl is perfect, I think, because it's knit much faster. I do have at least one DK weight yarn here that needs to be used for something. I'll be keeping my eyes out if I want to, or if I want to buy something that works with it. Really tempted to cast that on in the future. If you want to check it out, I'll link it down below as well. And that leads me just to mention a podcast, and I've already mentioned her a couple of times this podcast, so I'll mention her again. Selma from Little Big Knits. If you haven't come across her podcast yet, which I doubt, because she's got quite a big podcast, and she's been podcasting for quite some time, I think 5 years. So she's based in Canada, and she has a really nice gentle voice, which is just nice to listen to. I like her kind of she picks nice patterns and nice yarn, and she has an eye for the detail, which I admire, like somebody who takes like time to think about what kind of projects they knit. So I like to listen to her, and I think what I like the most about her podcast, it's really weird, but if she ever comes across a name or maybe like a description of something that is written in a different language, she always makes sure that she says it perfectly. And I'm always quite impressed. She's got some Finnish background, but she lives in Canada, and she's also got a connection to South America. So yeah, she's I think she speaks a couple of languages at least. Yeah, I think she speaks a few languages, so it's lovely to listen to her, and I totally can recommend her podcast. Alright, so that leads me to the last part of the podcast, and that is just a little live update and a little bit of a chat. I think I have the brain power to just knit stockinette, so I'll be knitting my Abydos top, which I kind of have to finish soon, so I'll use that opportunity. It's my first time actually today that I have time to knit, so I'll do that, and then I'll knit later on once I have finished filming. But yeah, the last months have been busy with visitors, so we had a lot of visitors, like family coming over to Iceland to visit us and to spend a little bit of time in Iceland and to just see a few things around. So it is always lovely that they make their way over here. It's not super close to Europe, so it's about maybe 2.5 hours flight from England, and then 3.5 hours to Germany. So it's very much appreciated by both of us when family members make it over, and we always try to spend some time with them and show them the nice little corners around here. We try to pick like nice places to go that we also like, and we're getting better and better, I think, with finding corners that we prefer over maybe the main tourist attractions, even though we feel like when you come here the first time you maybe want to really see like the standard places like Geysir and Gullfoss, and just the Golden Circle, which is close by to Reykjavik. So we've done that quite a few times now, and we're both getting maybe a little bit tired of it, just because we've seen it so many times, but never mind. We still enjoy having family over, so it's nice to just show them places that are nice to see. But we've also, so I think I found another place that is one of my favorite like day hikes. So it takes about maybe 45 minutes drive from where we live, and it's called Glimmer. It's a waterfall. It's the second highest waterfall in Iceland, and I think I've included footage before. I'll probably include more footage of this hike at the beginning of this video. But it's a lovely hike. It's not the easiest, so it's maybe not for a beginner, let's say. You need some good footwear to get up there, and you cross a river, so you might have to take some maybe some what are they called, water shoes. We've always done it bare feet, which hurts a lot, is really cold, and maybe not the best idea, but yeah, we have like some walking sticks to get through the river. And luckily the last 2 times it was a little bit warmer and there was less water in the river, so it was a bit more comfortable. But yeah, you still have to be careful, and you have to kind of know if, or you have to see if you're able to do it. But it's a lovely hike if you're around the area, and it's a little bit less touristy, I would say. If you pick like a weekday, it's not that busy. So yes, that's what we've been up to really. The volcano erupted a month ago or so that was really nice. We went up there and had a look at it. So when the volcano erupted in 2000, let's get it right now, I think it was 2021, last year. I really wanted to go. I really wanted to go to Iceland. I had tickets booked from England, and then because of the like travel restrictions we weren't able to come. So when it happened then, now like a month ago, there were a lot of earthquakes before it erupted, and then it erupted, and it was just like a 40 minutes drive from our home. We could actually see the glow of the volcano in the evening from our from our living room window. So yeah, really interesting, nice, and in some ways also some not scary, but there's things that come with it. So the risk of maybe road closures in the future if it would have continued for a long time, and as well like interruptions for air travel that would have been, yeah, more than an inconvenience. So luckily this one was just a short eruption, and a really like one that you could go to. It was still a long walk. It was I think 14 or 15 kilometers to walk, so quite a walk, and you had to be well prepared. We went there fairly at the beginning, where there weren't that many rescuers there, and the paths weren't well marked, so you had to be really careful. Now everything has been set up a little bit better, obviously, but yeah, you still have to have good footwear and bring enough snacks and water, especially water. Bring water if you go for hikes in Iceland when there's no like stream or something, yeah. But I loved seeing it, and it was so impressive, and it's definitely one thing of my bucket list. I always wanted to see an active volcano, and I was so happy that I was able to see it. It was great. And I've obviously seen it as well, flying in and out of Iceland. I've seen it from an airplane, so that was very interesting as well. But I think it was even better just walking there, definitely. The other thing I've been up to, so this summer, in June actually, so I forgot to mention it last time, but I thought I'd mention it now, because I've done it again. So I've run 2 half marathons this summer, which was really fun. So the first one was just after summer solstice. It's actually called the Midsummer Run or something like that. So that one I run myself, just on my own. And then the second time now, my mum was visiting, and she ran the half marathon with me. And it was so much fun. It was so windy that day, so we just took it easy. We just ran slowly and just enjoyed the views. And yeah, it was really windy. Christ, it was something else. the first one that I run in June was a bit easier and nicer weather. But it was great. People were really supportive. There were lots of people who were cheering on the streets, and families outside the houses and stuff. So yeah, a great experience. So if anybody of you likes to run marathons, definitely consider running it in Reykjavik. Other than that, I will be going to Germany soon, so I have planned to visit my family in September, which I'm looking forward to. And yeah, that's it really. I've been thinking about maybe going to some yarn festivals. I had initially, so I would be off for either Perth or Unravel, but I think the travel costs would be too high, and I think I would just use that time to spend some time with my family. But I'm still considering maybe of going to Rhinebeck. So yeah, I have that in the back of my mind. I might be able to just do it in October, let's see. But yeah, that's just an idea. I don't really have to. I've never been to a proper yarn festival, so I went to I think it's called the Stitches Show. I can't remember what the name is, in London, which is mainly more like a sewing show, and they had a few knitting. They had like a knitting corner, but it wasn't as big as I think Unravel or something like that. So yeah, I might consider going to another or to a real yarn festival. I'd like to, but I'm not gonna change the plans to not see family and go to see get some yarn. I think I'll keep my family as a priority to visit, and then maybe go to a yarn festival at another time. Alright, I think that's all the content. Oh no, one thing that I wanted to show you. Oh my god. So I told you before in my previous episodes that I had run out of the British wool that I needed for the half and half rib. And lovely Magde from Westknits, she sent me quite a bit actually. She sent me almost half, 40 grams or something of the cinnamon colored yarn, so I could actually finish the first half. And then she sent me the most precious yarn that I have, I think, in my stash. Unspun yarn that she made. Oh, I'm so impressed. So if you watched that, Magde, thank you so much again. She's got a lovely podcast as well. I have mentioned her before. She's become a proper spinner, and definitely somebody I would like to maybe learn from, spinning. But this is a very special skein that I have in my stash now, and I will first continue having it here, and then I'll think of something that I can make out of it. Probably a shawl. I probably combine it with something really some basic color, so this can shine. But yeah, I love it. It's so soft. It's so nicely spun. I'm so impressed. Thank you, dear Magde, and that's something that I wanted to mention before I wrap this up. Yes, these are all the things that I wanted to talk about. Thank you so much for commenting under my previous videos, and I hope you like this video as well. Let me know what you're knitting on, whether you have already started your Abydos top. I can't be the only one who's knitting them constantly, right? Let me know if you have knitted an Abydos top yet, or if you've already cast on yours. And yes, it would be lovely to see you amongst the knitters that participate at the unspunheroeskal. As I said, whoops are welcome. And other than that, I don't have anything else to tell you. So yeah, feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you in one of my next episodes. Thank you, and bye-bye.